and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to our Tuesday night live video right here on YouTube. Tonight, oh my goodness. So if this is your first time joining us or you are with us every single week, holy guacamole, you picked an amazing episode to tune into. I hope you are ready to be inspired. We actually have Matthew Wyatt with us tonight, live, like right here, coming at you from season 2 of The Biggest Transformation. He's been on the channel before, but we wanted to come back to you with an update to hear what he's been up to, where he's at, and this incredible, phenomenal, life-changing, pinch yourself, like I can't believe this happened to me moment that he just went through. And so without further ado, please help me welcome to the channel, Matthew Wyatt.
Hey, Carmen, thanks so much for having me on. This is
Hi.
Hey, yeah, I mean, you've been such an inspiration to me, obviously, and to viewers, so it's just great to be here tonight. And, yeah, glad for the opportunity. This has been crazy, like just a whirlwind. I remember like when we
hold on,
first started
time out for 1 second. So if any of you have seen season 2 of The Biggest Transformation, or you even saw Matthew on here in other capacities, you will notice that this looks like his younger brother. Like the man that's out here right now looks like the younger brother of the other Matthew. And so just to preface, so they kind of know a little bit of your backstory. So just over a year ago, it's been about a year since you and I met. And a year ago, Matthew, where were you at?
So a year ago, I was just over 300 pounds. So I was literally, twice the guy I am today. And I had tried different things, but I had no belief that change was even really possible. I'd kind of given up, honestly. Yeah, it's crazy to think now, but yeah, it's.
So a year ago, you were over 300 pounds and you had tried lots of different things to lose weight. Like you would try, like, is that accurate to say?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd done South Beach. I had tried keto. I had done various little fat things with friends. I'd done like the Richard Simmons workout videos back in the day. Like the whole like sweating to the oldies. I'm a pony. The whole it was the gamut really. I had considered surgery, but was afraid to, and knew that if I couldn't fix the things I hadn't fixed, it wouldn't necessarily matter. And I didn't trust that I could. So I didn't really consider that an option. And I was stuck. I was just stuck.
And so you had tried all these different things to lose weight. And obviously you're not a tall guy. They can't tell, but how tall are you?
So I am just over 5'5".
So, 300 pounds over 300 pounds on a 5'5" man typically puts you at being one of the larger males inside of the room. And so you had done all the diets, you considered surgery, and like, was weight an adult thing that you struggled with, or like, how long had you struggled with your weight?
So I don't remember a time when I wasn't big. Like when I started school in kindergarten, I got made fun of on the bus and called egg body, and that was when I found out that I was fat, and that was the way of it. And what was lousy wasn't just that I was big; it was that I was unhealthy and I hated it about myself, but felt powerless to do anything about it. And so it was like this perpetual trap,
Yeah. Well, and when you try to do stuff, obviously so as a child, gosh, it's so awful being overweight as a child because kids are ruthless, right? Like they just tell you you're fat and you're egg body and you're all these things. And as a child, you feel kind of powerless. Like, what are you supposed to do? Right. And so when was the first time you can remember like trying to lose weight?
So I remember being in junior high, and we like as a family we did this big thing where we're like, we're gonna be vegetarians, and that was supposed to like change everything, and then but it faded. Like we were vegetarians, and then we were vegetarians that sometimes ate meat, and then we were mostly vegetarians, And then we were just ourselves again, and it was just a lost cause. So it, and that was what was crazy about that was that it worked for a little while. So it was the start of that cycle of getting a little progress and then ending up worse off, doing a little better and then ending up worse off. And so it becomes discouraging because then through the teen years that happens, through young adulthood it happens, and it starts to feel like, well, why should I even try when I'm just going to end up worse than I started out? I'm going to feel like I do now, but I'll be bigger, and there'll be one more thing that didn't work, And so it's discouraging. It just sort of becomes it just becomes a part of who you are, and you kind of learn to work around it and pretend it's not a problem.
Yeah. Being smaller ends up being this pipe dream that works for other people. And
Right.
we almost take on this identity of being the big guy or the big girl, and we're just big bone. And that's just, you almost start to think, well, did you ever think like maybe you had like some metabolism issues, some thyroid issues, like there was something wrong with your body and that's why you couldn't lose the weight?
Oh, absolutely. Especially because others in my family are big too. So it's like, oh, this is who we are. There are little people and there are big people, and we're just big folk. And we eat different, we live, and that's just what it is. It was a label that I accepted fully, and by a year ago, I didn't even question it.
So if we fast forward to a year ago, you would struggle with there wasn't a time you couldn't remember struggling with your weight. You had tried all these ways. You literally had created this identity around being the big guy. You were married to your incredible wife, Rachel. You guys had, this tribe of children. And so she obviously accepted you. What was it like? So how did you get started in the biggest transformation? Like, the biggest transformation, for those that don't know, it's a reality type show, if you will, where we pick a cast and they are committed for 6 months. They go through this program. We tell them what to eat, what to exercise, how much water to drink, accountability, live coaching. And it's a 100% success rate, but it's kind of like an all-in, imagine the Marines, the boot camp for the Marines. It's similar to that, right? So
Yeah.
how did you even hear about it, sign up for it? Like, what was that?
I was hesitant for sure for a few reasons. So my dear friend Shane was in the first season, the season before mine, and he and we were sort of fat buddies. Like we had done stuff together, we had activities together, we ran a company together where we made games, and we went to a game convention. And I remember us sitting in the hotel after we just had a very bad first day at the convention. And so we did what fluffy people do when they're happy or sad. We ate. We got ice cream, we sat down, we went to get ice cream. He's like, what flavor do you want to get? I'm like, what difference does it make? I'm getting my own and you're getting your own. So we each had these big things of ice cream and just sat there in the hotel, and this was the way of it, right? And he's a lot taller than I am and was in similar or slightly worse. So he was, bigger, and we were just big guys hanging out. And then he
doing big guy things.
Yeah. What do? We eat ice cream and we pray the chair doesn't break when we sit down. That's our gig, right? And I don't mind standing is the line you use a lot when you're bigger. It's like, no, I'm good. You size up chairs before you sit. That's just a normal thing when you're big, And we had even talked back and forth at one point, like, I don't know, is there a way to change this? Because you start to think, well, I should do differently. You should be healthy. You want to be healthy, but you just don't think it's possible, And so it's that lack of belief and that label, they work together against you. And so he bravely went first. He did season 1, and in season 1 had incredible results. He'd even win that first section, and it transformed. He beat his diabetes. He suddenly was going to be there for his kids and all these things that I'm sitting here like, I want that for myself. I want that for the people I love. And if he can do it, I can at least risk believing it might be possible. And so it was scary because I applied and I'm like, oh, if I fail, I'm going to fail publicly again, because I had done a YouTube show myself years before where I tried to get healthy, and that just ended with me. I just stopped posting. That was how I just faded. I was like the boyfriend that never called and just slowly drifted away.
Right.
And so I was like, this is going to be very public. And now, as an adult with kids and a career. There's a lot more eyes on me. But I also knew that Shane would be in my corner, and he has been from then to now, every day, constantly cheering me on. And he already knew you, had worked with you before, knew you before you got your incredible results, and said, look, she's held on to this for years, not months. And so I kind of swallowed it hard and filled out the application and sent a little video being like, hey, I'd like to do this.
Was there ever a part of you? So obviously you saw his results, and Shane lost 128.2 pounds in 6 months. So incredible results, right? Like he had abs for the first time since you probably knew him. And was there ever a point where you were like, because after you apply, you get this video basically saying, hey, it's my way or the highway. This is like legit, there's these time and money investment. Was there ever a time where you were like, what the heck am I getting myself into? Like, what the work?
Every single week at first. Because it's once you get into a routine and you're doing kind of all the right things, living according to your goals, it's not a big deal at all. But turning that ship at first really feels like a lot. And in your head, because it's all this stuff you don't normally do. And now I'm thinking about what I'm buying, and I'm being intentional about what isn't in my house. And I guess I'm living according to my goals, and I'm borrowing belief from my coach. Just all these really new ideas. And it felt like a lot to ask of those around me. It felt like a lot to ask of my wife. In fact, the most stunning thing for me was 3 months in, where I was just starting to. The results were just barely visible, but I was feeling different. And my wife says, this has been worth every penny, every minute, absolutely. And that was probably the real turning point on belief for me, where I was able to go, okay, this is good, this is possible, and worth doing. Even at that point, I knew there was a thing called the Beachbody Challenge, because you had mentioned it from the onset, and you of course won it. But it was still that was for other people. That was some random person was going to do that. That wasn't. I just wanted to not break chairs.
Well, and it's hard to believe that you can come from overweight and that a company is going to pay you. Your transformation is going to be so incredible that out of 30, 40, 50,000 people, you're going to win 100 grand, right? Like you're going to be this, because we see these before and afters of people that were fluffy, and then they're like half their size, they look fit, they look trim. And when we're over here, it's hard to believe that we're going to go all the way over here, that we could have those kind of results. And so you made it through the program.
Yeah.
You won your season. You led the way in both phases, and you lost 142 pounds in 10 months.
Yes.
Which, dude, you're like literally half the man you were. Like, I remember you saying that. You're like, Carmen, I'm half the man I was. So we then submitted your results, and you were selected. You were one of 4 finalists out of 40,000 people or something like that.
Yeah, I think between all the categories, it was 30 or 40,000 people, and they narrowed it
mind-numbing. And just last month, you stood on a stage in a stadium in St. Louis. And fire thingies went off, and they said the winner of the $100,000 is Matthew Wyatt, and they handed you a giant check for 100 grand. I know since then you've gotten it in your bank account. Matthew, there's other things I want to ask you, but let's just go there first.
Yeah.
What in the world was going through your brain when they called your name to win 100 grand?
So I had a pretty good sense that I knew who the girl was going to be, just having watched it. And they put us into 2 groups on the same side. This will sound familiar. You told me a very similar story when you were there. And then they moved me to the other side, and I'm like, there might really be a chance. I might be the guy. And they had warned us. They're like, now just so you know, we have fireworks that burst up from the stage and they're loud. Don't let them scare you. We don't want anyone to fall over. And so I was like, okay, so no matter what happens when those go off, I'm going to go like this so I can sort of clench my fists so that I don't like fall over. And that way I look excited if it's me, or excited for whoever, if it's, Andy, or, it'll be okay. It's good. And then they said, we're standing up there, and I had already thought about what it was going to be like to be up there. So I didn't think I'd be nervous, really. And I'm up there, and my heart is just going.
Well, and just so they know, you're in a stadium. There's 20,000 people live.
Yes. I expected a large room full of people. I didn't realize that we were literally going to be the lower level of a stadium. Like, it is a sea of people. There is not sound. There is just noise. And the way the light is, it's just this wave, and there's an energy about the room, and everyone there, because everyone there is committed to this thing we're doing. Everyone there is genuinely excited about what's going on, genuinely happy for everyone on that stage. And I'm watching all their videos, and I'm like, oh man, I'm rooting for everyone up here. Like, they keep saying, no matter what happens, you're already winners just for getting this far. You get $15,000, which is insane. And they've brought us here. We had a driver to the hotel. They put us. It's already been incredible. Like, if we go home at that point and it's done, holy smokes, we were part of something amazing, right? And then they say my name. And when they said my name, the fireworks went off, I didn't even hear them. Like, I literally, I remember hearing my name and doing the hand grip thing that I did so that I wouldn't be scared by the sound. I don't remember seeing them. I don't remember hearing them. I know they happened. I've watched the video since. And I kind of stepped forward because they told us where to walk depending on if we, what happened next. And I walked forward, and then Jericho McMatthews, who is not only one of the super trainers for one of the programs, because we do the workout from home through this video, the video series of Beachbody on Demand, but she was the one who really walked me through my first 100 workouts. I mean, she played a really big part in my transformation, and I called her out in my video, and I'd had the opportunity to meet her earlier and just to thank her. And so she comes running out. I have no idea she's going to be there. And I'll tell you, I was so happy to see her. She gives me this big hug, and I'm hugging her, and she gives me this big kiss on the cheek. And there's a funny story about that, actually, because I have no idea. But she's just this very vibrant, incredible, bright person. So she's wearing this extremely bright lipstick. So I have lipstick on my face. If you watch the video, you can see this big red just mark. And the funny thing is, a few hours earlier, my wife and I are at the hotel getting ready, getting dressed. I'm doing my little tie. She's finishing up her makeup. She's like, now, I shouldn't kiss you on the cheek with my lipstick, because can you imagine if you were up there if you won and you got to give a speech and you had lipstick on your face? That'd be ridiculous. And so fast forward to the actual thing. I'm up there. I've got lipstick on my face. She's in the audience cackling because she thinks this is the funniest thing she's ever seen. And she's excited. I mean, we're both overwhelmed, right?
Of course.
I have no idea it's there. So I get up. And then I go over, I give Andy a big hug. I'm so excited to see him. I congratulate Katrine, which is the gal who won, and her story is also just incredible. I mean, all of them really are. It's unreal. And then we walk up, and I had this perfect outline in my head of what I was going to say and exactly how. And unfortunately, in the video, I look very calm and very composed, almost like I know what I'm saying. And in real life, I'm saying 2/3 of what I plan to say, and I know where I'm going, and I get there. I meant to say thank you at the end, never got thank you out. I literally just said the cool thing I wanted to say at the end to encourage people, and then I just stopped talking. I literally just and then from there, lift others up. Nothing, not a word, just walked away. So it was.
I mean, but that's kind of understandable. It's kind of understandable. You just won $100 grand. It's okay to be a little tongue tied. And that is, Matthew.
It was surreal. And then we go backstage, and you're there, and Rachel's there, and I wrap my arms around Rachel, and she's just weeping for joy.
His wife.
And
That's his wife.
yeah, Rachel's like, yeah, you mentioned before, Rachel's my wife. I mean, and she's just weeping for joy, and she leans over to my ear and tells me how proud she is of me, and oh my goodness,
So how is life, obviously besides the 100 grand, how has life changed from being a 300 and some pound husband and father, struggling with all the problems that come with that, to being 150-pound healthy, fit? Like, how has life changed?
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't realize, and I don't want to say this in a way that's like shameful to where I came from, but I didn't realize how bad it was. Like, I wasn't aware of how much I just lived with the pain and the achiness and the sense that I couldn't do this or couldn't do that, because it was just, I just accepted it. And I still run into things every once in a while where I'll go to like I went to get on the kids' trampoline the other day. I joked about it. I was like, well, obviously I can't go on the trampoline, that's got a weight rating. Oh, I can go on the stupid trampoline. Now, I'm not superhuman. I got on it. I tweaked my back and remembered, I'm still in my 40s and it's fine. But the fact that I could was just different. There's this whole world of options that open up. I fly on planes and I don't have to ask for a seatbelt extension. If it's got 4 legs, it can hold me up. I don't have to think about chairs or worry about hammocks. I was out with the family just camping this last weekend, and there were hammocks, and I didn't have to go, oh, I don't know if it can hold me and one of the little kids. I'm probably gonna break it. No, I just live. And then I'll go to do a task or something. Things that were hard or heavy just aren't. And now I'm in this. It's been just long enough that there are some people in my life who never knew me as a big person, and that's a cool kind of bizarre, where like I'll be talking to someone, and I was at an event a few weeks ago, and someone was like, well, I mean, you wouldn't understand. I mean, it's different when you're big. And I'm like, oh, wouldn't I? Actually, let me tell you. And I just showed a picture, and they stared at it in disbelief. And it's just, I know I won't go back, because I wouldn't be happy going back. I wouldn't let myself go back. If even when I've hit things where I've started to even kind of pitch back and gain back a little, and I've hit that. I've hit bumps. It hasn't been like this perfect trajectory of I started doing everything right, did what I was told, and suddenly magically life's perfect, and I don't even like ice cream anymore. I love ice cream. It's been this, but I know how to get back to this. I know how to correct. I know how to move and tweak and change course, and I won't be happy unless I'm doing that. And it's not that I've like shamed myself to it. Like I'd be unhappy, like, oh, I feel bad, I'm not doing this. It's that I want to feel better, and I feel better when I take care of myself. I feel better when I make good choices, when I keep sweets and things in moderation, when I'm not, I can get out, I can outrun my kids, like just little things like that right now I think I'm starting to take for granted a little. Like it's just because this is the rhythm I live my life in, and it's fantastic.
Well, you're starting to adjust to this new life and this new body. And I know somebody's going to ask, Carmen, what did he do? So he did not have the surgery. And if you really want to know what he did, you need to go over to the channel, look at the playlist. His season, and I'll link it down below in the description box, was season 2 of The Biggest Transformation.
2, baby.
We are currently taking applications for season 6. So we've had 3 season since. We're casting season 6 right now. But it was, to make it simple, there was nothing extreme. He didn't cut out food groups. He didn't spend the day in the gym to get his insane jaw-dropping. He gets accused of photoshopped his pictures. That's how insane the transformation is.
Very satisfying, actually.
Right? It's the best compliment ever. He combined fitness with nutrition and followed some simple steps. But you can go down below. You can watch Matthew's season. What has been the response from your friends and family? Like, how have they responded?
I went and visited my folks and my uncle a couple months ago. It was the first time my uncle had seen me in probably a year, and he was just staring at me, like just staring. I was kind of amused, but he felt a little weird that he was staring because he knew he was staring. And so finally he brings it up. He goes, "I was just after knowing someone a certain way their whole life, this is crazy." But so people are a little surprised, but they're more happy. And that's the thing I would say to anyone who's either on the fence about applying or starting. You would be amazed how many people care, how many people are watching, and how many people you can bless by taking care of yourself a priority and treating yourself like someone you love, and then letting that inform how others treat themselves. Like it's stunning. And yeah, that's the biggest takeaway in this is it's, what we do, imagine this, has more of an impact on those we love than what we say. And so just do it. Start. You got this.
And you went on to be a mentor. You've mentored several people at this point. You mentored Stuart Lynn in season 3, who lost like 74 pounds in 6 months. You're currently mentoring Ken Brown from season 5, who has lost 56 pounds in 11 weeks. 56 pounds in 11 weeks the dude has lost. Like, he's got ab muscles. And today, you're a coach helping other men and women transform their lives and their bodies. And they can find you on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Yep, and TikTok.
And TikTok. That's right.
TikTok.
And TikTok. So you can go find him on those places. Him and his family are amazing. You could not meet better people. And Matthew, thank you so much for being on. You are such an inspiration. So beyond proud of you. And I can't wait to see the doors that this opens, the lives that you change through your very own experience, and amazing freaking job. Thank you for being on tonight.
Thank you. It's been a privilege. And obviously, you started it. So thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. From Matthew and I, have an amazing night. We'll see you back next week. Same time, same place. Peace.